Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and something I've noticed, this happens frequently. I've got a few frequent subscribers who they come here, they want to argue these things, and I don't ban people for this. It's not something I'm going to ban someone for. They're free to discuss this in comments. I rarely argue with them anymore, but I do get a lot of carbophobes coming here. And in the videos like I made yesterday, they'll try to argue about, well, how I'm wrong about carbohydrates and things. And look, guys, I say in every one of these videos that there's very good reasons in sports nutrition, demographics, everything else to eat high-carb diets. I'm not telling people that they personally have to eat a low-fat diet. I've never said or suggested that, and if anything, I've said that while generally you should try to fit in as many carbs as you can, and for body composition and performance purposes, and bring fat down to as low as you can get away with personally, there can be benefits to it. It doesn't mean that means a low-fat diet. A lot of people are simply not satisfied. They don't get proper satiation. Maybe they don't even get the right type of endurance, because a lot of people have slightly better endurance on a higher fat diet, a little bit more fat in their diet. So I've never suggested to people that they should avoid fat. And I do know a number of athletes who maybe their weekly fat intake could end up being as high as 40% of their net calories for the week, who perform very, very well in strength-based sports and who have good endurance also, like some strongman competitors and things. They're definitely out there. And if they're winning, I'm not going to argue with them about their diet. But the people who are carbophobic about it are absurd, and this is not accepted in sports nutrition. This is an unacceptable attitude to have. Every expert who works with top athletes will tell you this. Every person I have interviewed will tell you this. Guys like Alex Viada, CJ Allen, they all recommend ultra high carb diets for their athletes. They both train and coach elite athletes. Alan Aragon, who is a world-renowned sports nutritionist, will tell you the exact same thing, and he's written lots of articles talking about the problem of carbophobia over in the bodybuilding world, and it's absurd, and it would be laughed at in the sports nutrition world, even among very, very lean ultra elite athletes. Carbs are the dominant fuel source of the overwhelming majority of athletes. The scientific research shows us that the only people who are really going to notice a fattening effect from carbs are sedentary, obese, insulin resistant people. And the people are saying, well, I get fatter if I eat much carbs. Well, that means that you don't work out, and it means you were already obese. So, who cares at that point? Or it means that you're delusional. You're having an actual delusion with it. And I've explained before what happens when people go from lower carb diets to higher carb diets, of why they think they're gaining fat, of what the problems are. I've made videos on this discussing this in detail. It's a psychological issue. You're not actually gaining fat faster. If anything, if you're on, say, a ketogenic diet and you took your 70% carbs you're eating and you dropped that fat to 20% and replaced that 50% with carbs, so you went from 70% fat and nearly zero carbs to 20% fat and 50% carbs, particularly relatively high fiber carb sources that have a higher thermic effect, and you were at maintenance before, you would probably slowly start leaning out. You would lose body fat. You would not gain any fat. That's not even debatable based upon the science and observations in humans, unless you have something very physically wrong with you. It's shifts in water weight, it's shifts in appetite that are causing it. People, they don't get fat. And in fact, the majority of the leanest athletes in the world eat high carb diets, grain-based diets. When you look at populations around the world, the leanest, lowest body fat cultures in the world tend to have the highest carbohydrate intake, assuming it's from whole food sources. Even if it's white rice, we still count white rice as a whole food there, but whole grains, even white rice, fruits, vegetables, things like that. People whose diets are comprised of majority of carbs, demographically, are the leanest people around the world. So this idea that people will put forth that carbs are fattening, when by converse, all the cultures with the highest fat intakes have the most body fat, and that included the Inuits. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.